Okay, so everybody is talking about Spartacus. The reveal is imminent. If reports are to be believed, we should be hearing more information about it this coming week, and there's a lot of ideas, there's a lot of pessimism, there's a lot of optimism as well. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, leaning towards pessimism just because that's how I've always been, you know, expect the worst, and then if they do something better, you're pleasantly surprised, and that's kind of what I'm going into it with this, just because, obviously, and I know some people hate the comparison, but it's a reality, this is going to be compared to Xbox Game Pass, and that is a mighty, mighty high bar to reach for. Given the value of Game Pass, it's just hard for me to expect Spartacus to have that same level of value. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. It doesn't necessarily have to have that same level of value for it to be a success, because you could still provide a very compelling subscription service without it reaching the heights of Game Pass. Look at media and streaming television shows and entertainment platforms. Not all of them offer the same level of value, but a lot of them are still very successful. You know, I know a lot of them are also losing money, because the idea is you lose money up front and then you'll ultimately make money, yada yada yada, but you guys get the idea. In this video, I want to take a look at some of my predictions, expectations, some things I would like to see out of PlayStation Spartacus, this subscription service, and I'm trying to keep my expectations in line and being fairly realistic, but also wanting things that I think would create a value-filled subscription service. So let's get right into it. So, right off the rip, the big talking point is, are we going to get AAA games day one with Spartacus? I doubt that's going to happen. I'm sorry, I just don't think it's going to happen. I doubt we get day one games, but high-quality games should be there right off the rip, and it seems like that is going to happen based on the reports. A splashy lineup of games should be there right off the bat. And when I talk about that, here are what I would consider to be pretty solid. Right away from a first-party standpoint, give out games that are relatively recent. We're talking 9 months to 16 months old. That being Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Returnal just got an update, a co-op update. Why not offer it through a subscription service, have a ton more people check it out? And it's a game that's still going for a hefty price point. You'll get people in, check it out. Are a lot of people buying Returnal at this stage of the game for like $50? No, so just add it to the subscription service. Miles Morales Ultimate Edition. Why not? That game came out at launch. At this point, the majority of people that wanted to check it out, checked it out, and you can offer that game on PS4 and PS5. Ultimate Edition, obviously, only on PS5 with the Spider-Man Remastered upgrade. Demon's Souls, that's another game you could offer with this. And outside of that, those are first-party titles. Try to make third-party deals for high-quality titles that are relatively recent as well if you're not going to get them day one. I don't want to have the expectation of getting big-budget games day one. However, titles like a Nier Replicant from Square Enix. Sony and Square Enix already seemingly have a pretty good relationship. Try to work with them. Get some of those games on there. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Try to get that with the expansion on there. Maybe you can work with Ubisoft and get an Assassin's Creed Ragnarok on there. Assassin's Creed Ragnarok is a game that's already going pretty cheap. Ubisoft seemingly just wants to sell you the DLC right now, so add that game if you can work out the deal. Bandai Namco, work with them to get a Scarlet Nexus or a Tales of Arise. Scarlet Nexus is already available on Xbox Game Pass. So titles of that level that, you know, came out within the last year and a half. You can think about games like Hitman 3, maybe a Persona 5 Royal. I know that's available through the PlayStation, the original, the base game is available through the PlayStation Instant Game Collection. Royal is not. Also, since the big budget games probably aren't going to be there day one, at least make deals like the Shadow Warrior deal. Get smaller titles like The Ascent, Anno Mutationum, if that was available on a subscription service, I think that game would have gotten a lot more attention. Ollie World, maybe even a Sifu. Games at that level, you know, not full $60, $70 games, but games that are at the $20 to $40 range. I mean, Shadow Warrior was a $50 release, and they offered that through PlayStation Now. So I think Sony could make deals like that. I think that could add a little something. Even if those games aren't necessarily the biggest games in the world, I think they could round up the lineup pretty nicely. And you can be a little bit strategic with the offerings of the games, and what I mean by that is Sony seems to be doing expansions for a lot of their games, so there could be the idea of, hey, let's drop the game. Let's say Horizon Forbidden West ultimately gets an expansion 6 to 8 months from now. Well, a month before that expansion drops, drop Horizon Forbidden West in that subscription service, and then you can parlay that into, you know, kind of being a promotional tool for the expansion, if it does get an expansion. The other way you could go is you could offer the expansion for free, and then the base game would still be something you would buy. I kind of like the former, where you offer the base game for free, and then you can get the expansion as well when it releases. I think that's what I would do if we're not going to get the games day one. Okay, speaking of not getting the games day one, this might be something tricky to do, and if we aren't getting the AAA games, why don't you make it so top-tier subscribers get a significant discount on newly released first-party games? I'm not talking 10% off, like 30 to 40% off. Hey, those $70 games ain't cheap, so if I sign up for $15 a month for Spartacus, why not give me 30 to 40% off on God of War Ragnarok or whatever game comes out? Now, you might be thinking, hey, wouldn't you just sign up for 1 month and then cancel your subscription after buying the game? Yeah, well, that's a risk you might have to take. The ideal scenario would be you buy the game discounted, you sign up for Spartacus as well, and then ultimately you like Spartacus, and you keep that subscription service and you keep it rolling. You know, maybe in Sony's head, they're just gonna hope that people forget to cancel their subscription service, whatever the case may be. You know, that's a risk I think that's worth taking, and a lot of these subscription services take risks like that, where, you know, they're offering these trials right out of the gate. They're offering excessive discounts right off the gate so they can get people into the subscription service, get their foot in the door, and you have to take risks like that if you want to create a compelling service that a lot of people are gonna sign up to. Now, there is the political issue of you undercutting your retail partners. I don't know too much about that, and I would imagine Sony could figure out a way to work that out. You know, in the case of Microsoft, they're offering their games on Xbox Game Pass, you know, to play the entire thing, and then they're also selling those games at, like, your local Walmart and GameStop. You know, your Forza Horizon 5s and your Halo Infinite. You could go in store and buy those games for $60. I feel like they could figure that out, but again, that's an area where my expertise does not lie there, but I do know that is something they would have to work out, and undercutting your retail partners is a no-go in a lot of instances. With the exponential increase of digital sales, getting somebody into a subscription service and then, you know, offering discounts on these games. Let's say they're just a Spartacus member year-round, and, you know, they're a little bit hesitant to drop $70 on new releases. However, if you're saving like 30 or 40% on a Gran Turismo right out the gate, that might actually push them to buy the game as well. So that's something I think is a little bit of a middle ground if you can't offer the game just right out the bat, you know, day one on the platform. And, you know, that's the ideal case scenario I think everybody wants, those games day one. I just don't think that's feasible. But yeah, figure out the political issues as far as with your retail partners, and then I think that would be a good strategy. That's just an idea I came up with very quickly. I'm sure there's other routes you could go with making these new releases, you know, attractive to buy for subscribers as well while offering them something, but that's like the easiest thing I could come up with. As far as classic games, I mean, we gotta make them downloadable or it's all for naught. Game streaming is already available with PS Now, and sure, some people can take advantage of it, but the overwhelming majority that I see, social media, my comment section, for whatever that's worth, people are no-go on streaming services, so nobody's gonna care if PlayStation 3 games are streamable. And I get it, that's the one that's gonna be hard to emulate. It's so well done on PC at this point, and Sony should be able to do it better than people just are doing it themselves, at least I would think. And I feel like the PlayStation 5's got the power to emulate PS3 games. They could figure it out. But if not, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 games should be downloadable. PS2 games, a lot of them already are. And with the PS1 games, add trophies to them. That would be nice to see. The PS2 and PS4 games have trophies, and just expand that roster of available titles. You know, I don't know how many people are going to be super invested into the classic games, but that's always going to be something that I know with these subscription services. It's content, content, content. Let's get as much content possible as we can on these platforms. Sometimes content over quality of these specific games, which is a reason some people are against subscription services in general. But yeah, I do know a lot of the thinking with these subscription services, especially from like TV shows, entertainment side of things. It's content, get hours of content on your subscription service, and in the case of games, it would be games, get as many games as you can, and PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 titles. And if you could get PlayStation 3 games being downloadable, that would open up a big array of games being available. I'll throw in game trials since that's the rumor that's been going around. EA's been doing this 10-hour play first trials or whatever. I mean, fine. 10 hours will actually get you a decent bit in a lot of the PlayStation titles, and if they can work with third parties to get their games having 10-hour trials as well, I guess it'll be okay. I don't think that's going to sell people on the service. Maybe if it's like 3 days early, a week early. That's actually something I thought of when I talked about the discount. Offering people, quote-unquote, 3 days early access to the game. You guys know how I feel about that. That's why I didn't. I don't want that at all, because that's literally just locking the game away from non-subscribers. Let's not do that. But I could easily see a scenario where Sony does do that. But yeah, as far as game trials go, yeah, EA's been offering it. I guess you could do game trials like a week ahead of the game's release where you could play the game. I don't know for 10 hours, but 3 to 4 hours, especially on single-player games. We'll see how that ultimately turns out. Lastly, this is a smaller thing. I'll throw out the idea of bundling it with other subscription services. Get like a Crunchyroll, a Funimation, something like that on there. I always think about the Disney bundle that includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, and I believe it's like $15.99. I think it's a pretty good value, and I mean, really thinking about it, those 3 subscription services, if it is $15.99, that's like close to the same price as Netflix now, because I went to sign up for Netflix the other day, my mind was blown seeing that it was at $15.50. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah, and I did not sign up for Netflix after seeing that price point, but nevertheless, something like this is fine. Game Pass actually has bonus offers as well. I think they're giving out months of Paramount Plus soon because of the Halo TV series dropping. So you can do stuff like that. That's very minor, and that's, I don't think, going to be something that, pushes people to subscribe. But just an accessory factor, I think that could be pretty, kind of enticing, all things considered. But that's going to do it for me. I know I was kind of all over the place. Wrote out, like, all this on a Word document, over the course of, like, half an hour to an hour. I had, like, a lot of these ideas thinking about it, when this report broke. I was like, how can they really make it a good service, but, not give away games day one, just because I don't think that's going to happen. And this is what I came up with. Let me know what you guys would like to see, but keep it realistic. And, yeah, what I laid out, would you sign up for it day one, or would you still be like, nah, let me go in store, I'll pay my $70 to get the games day one, I'll wait for games to go on sale, etc., etc. That's gonna do it for me. A lot to go over here, but sound off with your thoughts in the comment section down below as always, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.